Edgar Mitchell. He walked on the moon. On the way home, the universe spoke. Then he ran psychic experiments from the capsule, hunted aliens, and got sued by NASA. And that's not even the strangest part.
This is Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon, and the only astronaut who ever came back and published a peer-reviewed paper on extrasensory perception. Mitchell was a Navy test pilot, doctorate from MIT, aeronautics and astronautics. By every available metric, the most rigorous man in the room. He flew jets off carriers in the Pacific, helped design the lunar module simulator, waited 9 years for a mission. He grew up in Artesia, New Mexico, 36 miles from Roswell, 16 years old when the so-called incident happened in 1947. He never talked about that as a kid. Then, in 1971, NASA strapped him to a Saturn V and shot him 250,000 miles into the dark. He spent 9 hours bouncing around the Framauro Highlands collecting rocks. But a quick note about the Apollo 14 crew. Every member of that crew smuggled something onto the mission. Alan Shepard, the commander, smuggled a golf club. He hit 2 balls on the lunar surface. The second one, he said, went miles and miles and miles. Stuart Rooser, the command module pilot, smuggled 500 tree seeds. Some of them later grew into moon trees. There is one in Washington Square Park. Mitchell, the lunar module pilot, smuggled a deck of psychic test cards. Nobody knew. Then he started the trip home. That is when everything changed. The return trip took 3 days. 3 days of nothing but Earth, slowly rotating in his window. Mitchell later described what happened as a savikalpa samadhi, a Sanskrit term, a state where all separation dissolves. He became convinced the universe was not made of stuff. It was made of mind. He kept that part private, but not entirely private, because on that same return trip, he had also been running an experiment. Mitchell had prearranged with 4 ESP test subjects on Earth. At fixed times each day, he would shuffle a deck of 25 Xena cards, circles, squares, stars, crosses, waves. He would concentrate on each one. The subjects, back in Florida, would write down what they thought he was sending. NASA was not told. When Mitchell got home, he published the results in the Journal of Parapsychology, Volume 35, June 1971. He is the only astronaut who has ever done this. But running psychic experiments from a NASA capsule wasn't even the strangest thing he did. In 1973, Mitchell co-founded the Institute of Noetic Sciences. Mission statement: investigate consciousness, telepathy, energy healing, spontaneous remission. It is still running today. He developed something he called the quantum hologram theory, the idea that the universe stores all information non-locally, like a giant hard disk in the sky. That, he said, was how ESP worked, and samadhi, and spontaneous cancer remission, which brings us to his cancer. In 2003, Mitchell claimed he had been diagnosed with kidney cancer, and he claimed publicly that a Canadian teenager named Adam Dreamhealer cured it, remotely, from a different country. Mitchell also admitted he never had a biopsy. By the late 2000s, he was deep into the UFO circuit. In 2008, on a British radio show called Kerrang, Mitchell said the Roswell crash was real. Aliens had been visiting. The US government had been covering it up since 1947. Most people assumed this was an old man losing the plot. Then the emails came out, October 2016. WikiLeaks publishes the Podesta dump, tens of thousands of emails between Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, John Podesta, and various correspondents. 2 of them are from a Moonwalker. Sender, terribillionairs@aol.com. Signed, Edgar Mitchell, The subject lines include disclosure and zero-point energy, and space treaty. Mitchell wrote that non-violent extraterrestrials were trying to help humanity solve the energy crisis, but they had a problem with nuclear weapons in orbit. He wanted Podesta to set up a meeting. He requested it urgently. Mitchell died on February 4, 2016, 8 months before the emails leaked. The meeting never happened. That was not even the federal court part. 5 years earlier, NASA had filed a lawsuit. In March of 2011, the auction house Bonhams in London listed an item, movie camera from the lunar surface, Apollo 14, estimated price $80,000. The seller was Edgar Mitchell. The federal government's response was to sue him. United States of America versus Edgar Mitchell, Southern District of Florida, June 30th, 2011. The complaint: he was never given legal title to the camera. It was US property. Mitchell argued that in the 70s, the astronaut office let them keep souvenirs. The judge was not moved. In October, Mitchell settled. He surrendered the camera. It is now in the Smithsonian. Edgar Mitchell walked on the moon. On the way home, the universe spoke to him. Nobody has ever been able to explain exactly what happened in that capsule. Not the scientists, not the philosophers, not Mitchell himself. 3 days of silence after the loudest experience a human can have. Earth rotating slowly in his window. Something cracked open. Everything that came after, the psychic experiment, the Consciousness Institute, the quantum hologram theory, the Podesta emails from an AOL account, all of it was just one man following the thread. He died in February 2016, still following it. The universe gave him the question. It never gave him the answer.